About it. For days, there have been rumors about what Palin said to Katie Couric regarding other Supreme Court rulings besides Roe v. Wade. Tonight, CBS News finally aired the question and answer that had so many people talking. Here it is.
What other Supreme Court decisions do you disagree with?
Well, let's see. There's, of course, in the great history of America, there have been rulings that there's never going to be absolute consensus by every American, and there are those issues, again, like Roe v. Wade, where I believe are best held on a state level and addressed there. So, you know, going through the history of America, there would be others, but...
Can you think of any?
Well, I would think of any, again, that could best be dealt with on a more local level. Maybe I would take issue with, but, you know, as a mayor and then as a governor and even as a vice president, if I'm so privileged to serve, wouldn't be in a position of changing those things, but in supporting the law of the land as it reads today.
Joining me for our strategy session, CNN political contributor and former senior advisor to Mitt Romney, Buchanan, who supports McCain, and Democratic strategist and CNN political contributor Paul Begala, who supports Obama. So, Paul, conservatives say that Palin is overcoached, that she just needs to be allowed to be herself. Is that the problem?
Who knows? The two clips you showed, the one where she talked about her view on Roe versus Wade, I thought she was sensitive. She held back from some of the kind of very strident rhetoric that sometimes is on each side of the abortion issue. She seemed to understand federalism. Good answer for her. Great answer. Then Katie asks her this question, right? What other, as a conservative, what other Supreme Court opinions do you disagree with? This is straight out of the conservative canon. I mean, every conservative, now you don't have to be the governor of a state, even one close to Russia, to know that most conservatives, I'll help you out. Here you go, Sarah, Governor. The answer is, well, you know, Engel Vital, which is the case where they banished school prayer, or maybe Lawrence versus Texas, which was a gay rights case out of Texas, or Johnson versus Texas, which was a flag burning case. I mean, it was pathetic. It was pitiful. It was a Miss South Carolina moment. I mean, where she just was babbling, I guess, like I am now. I'm so staggered by the ignorance there.
Bay,
I'm sorry.
It's interesting, Bay, because she actually spoke out against the Supreme Court ruling. I think it was the court of Alaska versus Exxon over the Exxon Valdez. She wasn't happy with the result. She was on TV speaking out about it a long time ago. What do you think happened?
Well, there's no question. I can tell you exactly what happened. It could have happened to me, and very likely could have happened to Paul Begala. You got the camera on you, and all of a sudden you're supposed to come up with one, and you start thinking, oh my gosh, what are they now? And you just need a minute for somebody to throw some ideas out, and you say, oh yeah, that, this. She didn't have a quick answer, a name of a case. But I'll guarantee you, states' rights is key. It'll go down a number of them. That the Supreme Court should not be taking away those state rights, and so she tried to give you some kind of idea where she would disagree. But this is not a fill-in-the-blank test running for Vice President of the United States. If she wants to ask her for 3 or 4 opinions on 3 or 4 cases, she'd had fine answers. But that's not what this is all about.
Gwen Ifill is going to be the moderator of the debate tomorrow night from PBS. It turns out she's writing a book, or has written a book, that is going to be published on Inauguration Day. It's about Barack Obama and his impact on the race and on African Americans in the United States. There are some conservatives, Bay, who are saying this should have been disclosed. It was disclosed in some newspaper articles months ago. Is this an issue?
It's a blatant conflict of interest. There's no question about that. However, I've got to tell you something. Anyone that's going to be coming up there is more than likely going to be liberal, and I think there's going to be enormous pressure on Ifill to be as fair as she could possibly be. So I would go ahead and let her be the moderator myself.
Paul, a lot of Democrats are saying this is just part of a McCain campaign effort to put pressure on a journalist. Is that fair?
Yeah, it's a pretty sleazy thing to do, particularly to Gwen Ifill. You know, she covered the Clinton campaign for the New York Times when I worked for Bill Clinton. She is tough as nails. Right down the middle. I had probably called her and screamed at her 100 times, but she's a very fair, tough-minded journalist. The book, by the way, is not about Barack Obama, so far as I know, and it's no secret. She's been working on this book for years. It's about the new generation of African-American and civil rights leaders. Obviously, one of them is Barack Obama. He's now the most famous. He's got a good chance to be the president of the United States. But it includes Arthur Davis, who's a remarkable young congressman from Alabama. In fact, has Selma in his district. Yeah. It's got a lot of civil rights leaders. And I really think it's really loathsome for the right wing to try to be bullying Gwen Ifill on the day before a debate.
Paul, she has a vested interest in Obama winning because that book goes right off the charts if he does.
I wrote a book about McCain. Do I have a vested interest in McCain winning?
Gotta leave it there. Paul Begala, Buchanan, thanks. The presidential candidates have 3 debates, but Sarah Palin and Joe Biden will go head